Hello again. Yep. Suggestions? Education training do not match job vacancies. Okay, let's move forward. Now we got to do this next breakout. Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, and we need to see what skills do they need in order to get those jobs in the office or the tourism industry. What trainings can we offer? And then develop a training weekend or whatever. Yeah. I'm trying to find where this is in the. So we'll look at. Okay, so the job focus according to this is tourism and offices. So um, we would look at what skill set do people need in the tourism and for office roles, and then find out which ones are the main ones that will apply to possibly both, and offer a huge training on them to get them like a certified, help them get certified training, do certified training programs, or just do a training program to help them gain those skills and the resources where they can pursue higher education in those areas. Yeah. Yep. That's a big one. The, yeah, those are all great and trainings that people in those industries need. Um, Trying to think what else I could use. Another one that those kind of things is in tourism and both offices. I don't think you mentioned it. Time management, because they're always going to be on a schedule with tourism or office. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Yes, because especially in those settings.
All right, welcome back, everybody.
Yes, we are back.
All right. So hopefully you were able to get your vision of the end all set for your project.
Yeah, my group had great ideas. Very exciting.
Awesome. So the next phase we're going to go into in our objective setting is to talk a little bit about SMART goals. So SMART is an adjective that we use to as a tool to help us with our goal setting. So when we talk about SMART goals, we want to make sure first that our goals are specific. So make sure that we have targets of what we're looking to improve. We want to make sure they're measurable. So our goals should be quantifiable, or at the very least have an indicator of what is progress along the way. We want to make sure that goals are achievable, so that we can complete those objectives along the way. It's important to make sure our goals are relevant. So stating the results that can be realistically achieved with our available resources. And we want to make sure that our goals are time bound. So when do we need to have these results? So using this SMART guide will help us in setting our objectives effectively and making sure that we're achieving our desired goals. The cool thing about SMART is that it's not just for JCI. This is a really amazing tool that you can use in your professional lives as well, and in your personal lives too. And I know I use SMART goals every day in my job. And so it's, once I learned about these several years ago, was a big game changer. So make sure that we're using SMART when we are doing that objective setting. So as we're setting our objectives and envisioning that end result, those are important pieces of defining our project. So the next thing we're going to do is write a short statement that explains what the project aims to achieve. Decide on 2 or 3 high-level goals for the project and give our project a name. So we're going to go back into our breakout groups to do this. And we're going to have about 5 minutes to go through. So we want to make sure that we're getting those 2 or 3 high-level project goals, that we are giving our project a name, and that we have a short statement that explains what our project aims to achieve, otherwise known as a primary purpose. What is the reason we're doing the project? So we will head back into our breakout rooms.
Hello again. So, SMART goals. No worries. So SMART goals. So you got to have specific. It could be just increase the community skill base. Measurable. How many do you want to impact? How many? We'll like set. We'll try to set the goals like it's a real project. Yeah. So like how many people do we want to impact? Because we got to measure. You know, we want to train these people, but how many people do we want to train? Well, we got to create our goals so we can create the name and the purpose and create that the purpose statement.
Good evening, John.
So you want, let's say like, for example, 50 people. We want to train 50 people. 50 people per session. Yeah, sure. Achievable. Our goal is achievable. It's relevant. Time bound. You know, this is an ongoing thing. So yeah. So with the two purposes of, like, the project name could be JCI skill building. Do you like that name for the project? And then we just got to create that 2 to 3 sentence purpose. You know, like in a sense of like your opening statement where you're going to grab somebody's attention. So I have something in mind if you can't think of something. So but I want to give it somebody else opportunity to share the ideas. So
Regarding what? Achievable.
well, achievable, your SMART goal, you don't necessarily create a SMART goal for every letter of the name. What you want to do is you want to make sure your goals are specific and measurable. And those are the two things. And then you want to make sure, did your specific and your measurable, are you setting them too high? Because one thing that people do is they go, well, I want to impact 1,000 members. We can't do that. And we have 1 minute left. We still got to get to 2 or 3 sentences. So the SMART goal of increasing community skill base with the purpose of doing 50 people per session, all is good. I think our 2 or 3 sentences should be like, here at JCI, we promote in the community members getting new skills and resources to improve their life and get the jobs they want, something like that. Yeah, because we have like less than a minute left right now. So I will then.
All right, welcome back again, everybody.
Thank you. We are back again.
Yep,
Time flies. 5 minutes is.
it sure does. Thankfully, in real life, we have a lot more than 5 minutes to work through these aspects of project planning. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk through is the brainstorming process. So you all now have your project and goals in mind. what you're looking to achieve with the project. And now we're going to look at some ways to deliver the project. So right now you've got some high level goals set, and that's really awesome. We're going to dive a little further though into the details. And we're going to use a tool known as brainstorming to get us started. So we're going to go through the process of brainstorming together and learn a little bit here on that. So brainstorming is a creative technique that's used to find a conclusion for a specific problem by spontaneously gathering a list of ideas contributed by all members. The term was popularized by Alex Osborne in the 1953 book, Applied Imagination. Osborne claimed that brainstorming was more effective than individuals working alone while generating ideas. Today, the term brainstorming is commonly used as a catch-all for group ideation sessions. Brainstorming can be done in a variety of ways. So today we're going to use a method of working individually and then coming together with our individual ideas in our teams again. So if we were together in a room, I would be giving you all some Post-it notes to work with, but in our virtual space, you can take some notes however works the easiest for you. But what we're going to do is take a couple minutes here and think about some of the key tasks needed to run the project. So go ahead and we'll just take a minute or two here, and you can write down your ideas on a notepad or type them on your computer or whatever is the easiest for you. All right, and if you have ideas that keep coming, feel free to keep taking notes as we go along. But when we come back together in our groups again, you'll be taking these ideas that you're writing down individually and pulling them together to start the beginnings of your project plan. So what steps are you going to need to do, what things are going to be needed. So the next tool that we're going to talk about, which is really helpful in the brainstorming process, is a Gantt chart. And the Gantt chart is used as an organizational tool to help us track when our steps, what we need to do along the project, when does that need to happen, what does that look like, when does it start and finish, and kind of help us track the progress on that. So Gantt charts are a type of bar chart. They were first developed by Carol Adamiecki in 1896 and independently by Henry Gantt in the 1910s. They illustrate a project schedule, and they're commonly used now. There's also many software tools available where you can use Gantt charts. I know there are different Excel add-ons if you use Microsoft Excel to have those Gantt charts. There's a lot of other tools for project management that include templates for Gantt charts as well. One free option is Miro.co. It's a website that lets you collaborate in a workspace, and you can use Gantt charts there. So the Gantt chart illustrates the planned start and finish dates for each action step in the project. On the left-hand side, you'll see the steps that are needed to complete a project, and across the top, you'll see the time scale. Each bar illustrates when a specific action step needs to be completed and how long it will take. You can use different colors to indicate who within a team will be working on those specific steps. If an action step is dependent on another action step being completed, then you can indicate that on the chart as well. Participants in the project should agree on a key for milestones throughout the project and select which key activities must be completed. These points should be shown on the graph as well. So as you look at the example here, the yellow triangle is indicating when those milestones need to happen. The green is indicating their planning phase things, blue for their marketing, and red for the development. And as you can see, some stuff is dependent on other things happening. So they have those blue arrows to indicate, you know, that like specifications have to be done before architecture can move forward. The planning has to be done before they can go into the development. Some things might happen concurrently. So you see there's some overlap in the planning and the detailed design, as well as the test plan and the development, and testing and Q&A and documentation. Preparation has some overlap as well. So the chart just is really helpful because at a glance you can see when things need to be done, what's reliant on each other, and overall what are your time frames for things. Once the Gantt chart is complete, the graph should be used to track progress at all the meetings related to the project so that you can ensure everyone is working according to the plan and meeting the key deadlines so that you can complete the project on time. So that's where it's especially helpful to see those milestones, where they fall in line, so that you know, are we on track with progress or are we falling behind on something? So in your groups, if we were together, we would have some flip chart paper and have you put together a Gantt chart. But I will just ask that, you know, within your groups, with the resources that you have available, you know, do your best to kind of put together a Gantt chart, and to look at that timeline, you know, what are the stop activities and what's that timeline? So that's where the notes that you just wrote down with your individual ideas for stops are going to come in handy, because that's going to help you figure out what are the things that we need to do, and then look at what milestones are going to need to happen, and if there's any things that are going to be dependent on another, like, you know, do you have to finish something before you can move on to this next step? So I'm going to give you a little bit longer time for this, more than the 5 minutes. So we'll go with 10 minutes to kind of go through this and just put together as much as you can in that time frame. Any questions before we go into the breakout rooms? See, we did have a question about the website I mentioned. So it's mural.co. Super helpful. And if any of you know Jay Johnson from JCI USA, he's the one who told me about that site. So I'm gonna give him the kudos because it's awesome. So, all right, seeing no other questions coming forward at this time, I'm gonna pop you guys back into your breakout rooms. But if you do have
Trina,
questions, feel free to
Anna,
message me. Yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah.
And could you please send the link in the chat box so we can work on it?
Yep. Yeah, I will. Let me pull it up on my computer here, just 1 second. Okay, so that should be posted in the chat box now. All right, I will get you off into your breakout rooms and we will come back in 10 minutes.
Hello. Oh, weird. My screen doesn't show you guys in here. Huh. Um, so we just pretty much have to create a project timeline. That's what a Gantt chart is. It's pretty much a project timeline. If you're not familiar with it, um, at different phases, and if projects overlap and your key milestones. Um, yeah. So, for example, okay, let's see here. Where is it? So you can see here's an example of the Gantt chart. And we just need to, let me zoom in on it. So how long do we need to prepare for this, in a sense? We need to go through each part of these, preparation. This doesn't have to necessarily be specifics. Architect, um, but it could also be used for, Gantt charts could be used for any kind of project. But you don't have to put these titles here. They're the general basic ones, but you could change it to like, preparation is number one. Yeah. So what do we want to do on this? What titles do we want to use? Okay. Actually, if it's a new training, you want to do a test trial on it. So you want to take a core group of people that necessarily you may not need the skills, but they know what it would be beneficial to them, to make sure that your training will be beneficial to the community. If it's a brand new training, or if it's a new, yeah. Well, that's part that testing and QA, test plan and testing QA are kind of the same one. You always want to try to test that with a new trainer or a new training. Yeah. Yep. Schedule the dates. Yeah, we can put whatever date we want. How long do we want it? Obviously 4 months for this kind of project. There's an immediate need, so you don't want to probably spread this project out 4 months. But at the same time, you don't want to rush it where it's not a high quality project. Mm. Yeah, it was just a project outline for the pre stuff. Anything pre before we actually go live with the project. No, just as we don't have enough time to design a real one. Is just giving the ideas. Typically, in this in-person setting, we would write it on a piece of paper and notes, and kind of have a rough draft. But since we're all different parts of the world right now, like I'm in California, we have to do it virtually during this pandemic. So it's a little bit modified. So yeah, so in person we would actually kind of like write this down, kind of have a sketch of it. It's just the idea to get it. The idea of this, yeah, just for practice, yeah. I mean, if you like the ideas we're doing, you could always take it and implement it as a real project. But this is just strictly for practice only. Stop sharing that. Sweet. Yeah. I take in all these courses, but my certification was expired, so I got to redo a lot of them. I've been in for 17 years. Yeah. That's good. I only have 2 more years left, and I officially age out. Yeah, so how America's JCI USA is a lot different than most of the JCIs. So we have JCI USA as a national organization. Then each of our states, like California, New York, have a state organization, and the chapter. Then we have the local chapters in the states. I'm currently California state president, so I'm in between national and the local chapters. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. You gotta. I mean, I would have been the state president sooner, later, but yeah. You just have a national president, right? Well, we have 1 minute left. Yeah, that's what I learned is very unique with JCI USA, how we have the states and local chapter and national. But it seems to work for us. Yeah. How big is your chapter?
All right. Welcome back, everybody.
Okay, we are back.
Yeah. So hopefully you got at least partway through your discussion planning exercise, if not all the way through. I know that there's never enough time. So
Yep.
we're going to move into the next section of our learning here and talk about stakeholders and partners. So we're going to start out here with talking about what is a stakeholder. And it's not me with my beef later tonight. So stakeholders are people or groups that have or claim ownership, rights, or interests in a project and its results during the past, present, or future. So as you think about the projects that you've been discussing in your groups, think about who the stakeholders would be for your projects. So it would, in our case, it'd be, you know, our project team, our partners. Think about who's affected by the project's outcome. So, you know, the members of our chapter, the public and our community, the sectors, different sectors of society, and who are our interested parties. So any vendors or contractors or other agencies that we're working with. And why do we want to work with partners? So partners bring different knowledge and resources to a project. They help us with collaboration, which can increase our impact and the sustainability of our projects. And you can work with partners at different stages of the project. So having a partner doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to be involved from start to finish. Different partners may be involved only in certain aspects of the project. So when we're looking at picking our project partners, it's important to think about our common goals and values. So the desired objectives of the JCI mission must match those of our partners. We want to avoid conflicts of interest. So we want to make sure that we acknowledge and discuss any conflicts of interest so that we're building trust and ensuring that they're understood between both parties. As we're working with our partners, it's important to ensure that we have defined clear roles and responsibilities and that those are agreed upon. We want to make sure that we understand the benefit to the partners of being involved in the project and that we're able to clearly communicate that to them. And that there's active communication between our JCI chapter and the partners that we're working with. It's also important to make sure as we're working with partners that we're using partners who are relevant throughout the life cycle of the project. So we want to make sure we're engaging them at the appropriate times. So in terms of our project, there are 6 potential partners in our area that could have a positive impact on our group projects. So those partners being a school or university, a homelessness charity, government or city council, medium-sized company, a recruitment company, and the media. So it's important to think about these partners and how they could benefit the project, and then which partner might be the most beneficial to approach and how you would persuade them. So we are going to talk about that in our groups, but we're going to come back to that one on the group activity and continue to learn a little more about the process. So as we look at resources, our next section here, it's important to take a look at all of the resources that are going to be required for our project, to think about resources that we already have. So what are things that we already have within the chapter? And then listing out the resources that we're going to need to obtain. So it's very common on a project that you may have some things you need, but then you have to go and get additional resources. Plan your requirements out for each task. Monitoring the use of resources throughout the project is going to be extremely important, and making sure that we have regular communication with the team about the status of resources. If you are not having regular communication, the team will start to feel disengaged. So it's important that a project manager keeps good communication going within the team and make sure that resources are on track. Budgeting is the next main area that we look at. And budgets are extremely important for projects, even projects where there may not necessarily be a financial dollar income or outgo. There's still financial things tied to every project. So we want to make sure that we're planning a complete budget for the project, that we're monitoring our projections against our actual realizations, that we're reviewing progress and highlighting any challenges to stakeholders in relation to the budget, analyzing our needs, and analyzing the results. So when we look at the budget, it's especially important to remember that even items that are donated or that you already have those resources, they still have a financial value to the project. So an example might be if you are needing cups to serve beverages, but you have thousands of them in storage within your chapter. So you use the cups you already have rather than buying new ones. That's fantastic that you had that resource available, but you still want to record in the budget the value of the items that you already had, especially because you want to think about long-term. If this project was being recreated, now you've used those cups from your storage, so you don't have them anymore, and they're going to have to be purchased the next time around. So what is that going to cost? What's that value? So it's important to think about those things in relation to the budget, and not just we had to spend $10 on postage and $100 for the speaker and things like that. So even things that are donated or resources that you already have still have a financial implication to the budget. The next thing to think about in relation to your projects is risk analysis. So every time we do a project, there's always risks involved, and we want to take those into consideration. So it's important to take a balanced view and based on the probability impact of the risk. Ensure that high impact risks are addressed and controlled, and monitor risks and notify stakeholders if any are realized. So quite simply put, this is our what could go wrong. Like what could be our potential problems within the project. And it's really important because as we identify what those potential problems are, then we can also identify potential solutions should that problem arise. And that helps us to be more prepared in the moment and to mitigate risks so that we can try to avoid those potential problems or those risks from coming up. So we're going to go into our groups again for just a few minutes, about 5 minutes, and we're going to talk about who our best potential partners from the community could be. So again, that's our school or university, the homelessness, the government or city council, the medium-sized company, the recruitment company, or the media. So we're going to talk about, picking 2 of those partners that we identify as being the most important to reach out for our project. And then we're also going to talk about risks. So I'd like you to identify at least one risk that could be involved in the project and one potential solution for that risk. So any questions about what we're going to talk about in our groups this time? You got it? Awesome. So I'm going to zoom you back off to your groups here, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
Hello again. So resource. What do you think is a good, one of the good resources we should use? Or two of them, actually two of them should be good. So, well, let me rephrase. Who should we partner with? I'm sorry, what was that? Yes and no, because we're trying to create them. It's a good one, but those people typically want a lot of money. So no, we're just talking about, you're trying to figure out who do you want to partner with to make your project successful? Who can give you the best resources? So for example, let's take company A. Company A is a brand, they have, let's say 20 positions open and they're desperate need of people's skills. You want to partner with them to learn what skills do you want your people to have so we can train these people on these skills, and then you would want to hire them. So we'll do that. Another good resource is one of the schools, a university, a college. Because then they could help you with the resources of maybe a trainer. It could give them a quick peek. They could give help with a trainer. They could help with location, because they usually have classrooms that are, you usually have classrooms that are not always being used. So you could do the training there, may not do it. And you got to look at, and you can partner with them like, hey, look at this if you help us with this and training people on this for free, let's say, because people love free, it might give you where these people might be inspired to join your university as a student to gain further skills. The employer, like, hey, we're going to try to please the people what skills you want them to have. Then you can interview them right afterward to see if they're a candidate that you may want to pursue after the training. So it's an all-encompassing project. Now, will that work always like that? Probably not. You probably can get one or the other, but in a perfect world, you can get both. Yeah. So then, so let's say we got, we want to partner with a school and a business that needs employees. What are some of our risks that could happen that would make this project not successful?
Resource risk. Distributed.
Yeah. So
Dispute,
then how do we want to
contract, sponsors.
Yeah. So if we have the lack of resource, how do we want to, let's say we couldn't get a school to partner with us. How would we want to fix that or have a backup solution for that? Um, Yep, those are all good ones.
right, welcome back again. So it's kind of fun watching you all pop back up on the screen. So the next phase that we're going to go into is looking at why we monitor our results. So as we're going along in the project, why do we monitor what's going on? So one of the first reasons is to highlight unexpected results. So once the project is going, it might not be getting the expected results. So maybe we need to go back and correct something in the way that it's being conducted. Monitoring results helps us with our decision making. So we need information in order to be able to make informed decisions on the future of the project, so that we can decide if we should proceed or if we need to make changes. It helps us identify problems or unmet needs. So if we aren't reviewing our project regularly, problems could go unnoticed, and that could mean that our project becomes unsuccessful and we don't meet the outcomes. It's important to make sure that we're highlighting issues of sustainability, cost effectiveness, or relevance. So we may not have a large amount of resources available, and it's important that we are monitoring our results so that we can check along the way to make sure that the resources we do have are being used as efficiently as possible. And it helps us identify ways to improve our performance. So through that monitoring results process, we can decide if there's a better way to do something so that we are more effective in running the project. So let's talk about why we do evaluations on projects. So it's important to think about, why we evaluate. And the top reasons for that are to make sure, did we achieve the objectives? When we talk about our SMART goals, we make sure that they're measurable and that they're time bound. So did we reach the goal? To look at our impact and our sustainability. So within JCI, the main aim of our projects is to create sustainable impact. And that should be the focus of our analysis. So did we actually resolve the root cause problem? And to make improvements on our future projects. So when we do our evaluations, we're looking at what worked efficiently and effectively, what could we have done different if we were doing this again. And that can help us the next time we encounter a similar situation to take those suggested improvements and implement them to see if they actually do improve the outcomes. So when we look at evaluation, it's important to think about what exactly should be evaluated. So first of all, effectiveness. Did we make an impact? What degree did we obtain our objectives? Our relevance. Did we make the right impact? Were the results of the project appropriate? Efficiency. Did we make good use of our time? Did we manage our resources appropriately? And did we deliver the project in the most cost-effective manner? We should be evaluating our coordination. Did the team work well together? Were there any gaps in the process? Could we replicate what was done? The coherence. So did the project make sense? Did it address the root cause that we started out to address? And looking at the coverage. So at the end of the day, how many people did we impact? And what was the impact that we made? Is it sustainable? How have we helped the people or the situation with the project? And as we look at evaluating results, it involves the same skills as the monitoring process, but it's completed after the project is complete. So that's the biggest difference between monitoring and evaluation. And if you want to make sure you're getting objective results in your evaluation, involve impartial people. You can ask people who are of a neutral position in relation to the project to give you feedback. Sometimes having an external view can give you a fresh eye and perspective on the findings, and they're likely to be more impartial because they weren't involved in the planning and execution of the project. So once you've completed your evaluation, who needs to see it? So it's important to think about as we go, back to the beginning where we learned about stakeholders. That's who needs to see our evaluation. It's our project team, our partners who own the project. It's those who are affected by the outcome of the project, and those who are interested parties, those potential partners that we're working with, those vendors, contractors, and agencies. So the stakeholders come into play at the end here as well. So we're going to hop back in our groups for one last time. And I've got 2 activities that I want you to finish up. And we're going to take about 5 minutes. So I want you to think about you're halfway through the entire process of your project. What's going well and what isn't. And then just fast forward to the project is done. Did you achieve your overall vision? Have you solved the problem, or did you find that there was something that maybe you didn't do as well, or you need to go back and evaluate? So just kind of think through those and discuss in your group, if you envision, like, where are you halfway through the project and where are you at the end of the project? So we'll take a few minutes to do that, and then we will come back together.
Hello. So what do you guys think?
Yes. Hmm?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes. No, you can take now. Maybe not there. He's not responding.
If you don't have a mic, use a chat. Okay. Okay.
What?
All right, welcome back, everybody.
I
Thanks for working in your groups, and I hope that you all were able to talk through quite a bit and get some of a feel for the process of running a project, going through that planning phase, the evaluations, monitoring. So we are just about done with our training and our time here together this morning in Michigan, or evening or afternoon, wherever you are in your part of the world. But I do want to mention that JCI has a project gallery. If you haven't taken a look at it before, take some time to go out to jci.cc/projects. And this is a great resource where you can view projects that members have submitted, where they're actually making impact in their communities. You can also submit projects yourself into the gallery. JCI is always interested in having more project submissions. So if you've got something going on within your local chapter, you can work on getting that into the project gallery. So it's just another resource that's available to help us generating ideas. So as we kind of wrap things up in the course, today we talked about creating our project statement, our objectives, and planning our action steps, identifying and targeting our partners, and evaluating our project successes. So these are now skills that you've been able to develop and experience a little bit in our group work today to go through as you get ready to become excellent skilled masters at project management. And I saw we did have a hand come up. So if you want to go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
Yeah. Hello, Anna. It's Mijash from Nepal, JCI Partner.
Hi, Majesh.
LP local chapter JCI Partner. So as you were talking about updating it on the project side of JCI.cc, so I just wanted to ask, as does it need to be approved by someone else in your chapter or the nation chapter?
So to the best of my knowledge, any member can submit a project into the project gallery, and then it gets reviewed by headquarters before it's published out. So if you have something that you want to showcase in the project gallery, go into jci.cc into that project gallery and follow the submission process to get that in there, and then headquarters will review it.
Okay, because I've done it, and I guess it's been like a month, but
Okay.
it hasn't been reviewed. So I just wanted to ask, is there any process regarding this?
Um,
Are you the local chapter? Are you the local organization president?
No, I am the IPP of the local chapter, but my president did it, but it's not being approved. So just wanted to ask.
Yeah, so what you may need to do is to talk to your local president to see if it's sat with them. So sometimes, because JCI is very protocol heavy, what you'll need to do is ask your local president to log in to their JCI CC account and to check their messages, and also log in yourself and check your messages as well, because when you log in, it will show you in the corner if there's anything outstanding that you need to do for JCI. And that will also, on there in your notifications, it starts with skills development, then it says members, then it says programs, then it says projects. So you can scroll down and you can see the status of those projects.
Thanks so much, Neil. Thank you, Anna.
You're welcome.
Yeah, if you get stuck on how to figure anything out with that, Josh, feel free to reach out to me or to Neil, and we'll help get you pointed in the right direction with who to connect with. So I'll promise you, neither of us know the exact answer or can look on the backside, but we can help you get to the right people. So,
sure, thank you so much.
Yep. So yeah, are there any other questions that you guys have about the training? Anything that we've covered? Do you feel ready to go out and run a project? Awesome. Yay, I love seeing all this positivity. You guys are great. Well, I'll be really excited to see what awesome things come from these great JCI trainings. This is just one of the many opportunities that you can have to take a training, and it's really a cool aspect of the present world situation with our pandemic that we've been able to do these virtually, so we can have interaction with folks from different countries within the same training and all over. So if you're interested in having a training scheduled with your local organization, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm certified to train all of the JCI courses. I will say that facilitator is one that we commonly get asked about running, and at this time it's not being offered virtually because the nature of the course does not lend itself to a virtual offering. But pretty much most of the other courses can be run successfully virtually, and we're happy to do those. So I thank you all for spending a little bit of time with me during your day to learn about project management. And now you can take your ideas for those sustainable impact projects and get out there and make them happen within your chapters. So thank you all. We will be posting the link for our final check-in on Google so that you can get credit. As Neil mentioned at the beginning of our training today, please allow us a few days to get the attendance finalized, and then you will get an email that contains the slides and the video recording from today's session, and then you'll get that notification from JCI that the the knowledge test is available for you to take. But please be patient with us and give us a few days to get all of that stuff wrapped up on our end so we can get it out to you. If you don't see it by this time next week, please feel free to reach out at that point and say, like, hey, I didn't see it come through, and we can check on things. But it'll probably be about midweek before you realistically expect to see something. I know that tomorrow, many of us are taking the opportunity for a day of rest in JCI USA, as we've had quite a bit going on over the last few weeks and quite a bit coming up again. So hang tight. I promise we'll get that stuff out there. And so we appreciate you all. And thank you again to Christian, our president from JCI New York and our host for today's session, and to JCI USA for helping us to bring this to fruition so we could get out there and learn about project management. Anything you want to wrap up with, Neil?
Just everyone give a virtual high five and round of applause to Anna. She's a fantastic trainer. We do really appreciate her. And join us tomorrow if you wish. I will be training on JCI social responsibility. So thank you very much. And that ends it. We're going to end the recording. Don't forget to fill out the Google form so that we know that you attended.